This is your man Warrior, and this is just a quick update. Now, you guys spoke and they heard. They are going to be making some changes. That's right. The developers have looked at the Sith Raid at all tiers, specifically and very pointedly at 1 through 6. So this is going to be 85% of the population who's playing the game is who they're really targeting with these changes. We're just going to go briefly through the changes and then you'll get my opinion at the end. So it says, Hiya Holotable heroes. 2 weeks ago, they mentioned they were going to get ready to reveal some changes in the Sith Raid from feedback they'd gotten from the community. One of the points they heard was that it's prohibitively difficult and not rewarding enough. So those are the two things that they wanted to tackle, particularly in tiers 1 through 6. To top it off, the upper end of those playthroughs are taking sometimes upwards of a week for certain guilds to complete, while many other guilds are now doing the heroic tier 7 a couple of times a week, which it's like 2 every week and a half kind of thing. 2 areas that they heard feedback on are the randomness of some of the mechanics, thus the forced retries, such as the Chex Mix having to redo it over and over and over, or B, the balance, effort versus rewards, how much effort you're putting in versus the rewards you're getting out. In order to address the randomness, they're going to do some stuff. So let's go ahead and move over to the randomness part. So the random nature of phases 1 and 3 can be very time consuming if you're trying to get the most out of your teams. Oftentimes, it's likely better to restart when Darth Nihilus' Annihilate comes off a cooldown sooner than or later than expected. Other times, Trey's lightsabers, those randomized buffs, randomize in a way that can make your run practically or strategically very difficult to plan around. All of these changes are for something to go wrong, increases the time commitment and often encourages players to restart until they get a perfect run. It shouldn't be this way when you play the raid. You should grab a team, do your very best, move on to the next team. They said they're going to make a few changes to address randomness, and this is what they have. So in tiers 1 through 7, this is all phases, or all tiers, phase 1 and 4, Darth Nihilus' kit will be adjusted to be more predictable. Now, it doesn't say how it will be more predictable, but they want to put something out there to make it more predictable. Annihilate is such an important ability to strategically plan for in phases 1 through 4, 1 and 4. Ultimately, we want to reduce the chance that you get caught unaware by Annihilate and improve the likelihood that you'll be able to use the Unbreakable Will at the right time. As far as tiers 1 through 6, specifically phase 3, to reduce the randomness of Trey's lightsaber. Now, this is not going to affect heroic tier, but for the rest of them, they want to reduce the feeling that you need to restart to get a decent run. For some teams, success against Trey is heavily dependent on which buffs start on her sabers and which ones they decide to attack first. So we have several ideas on how to solve this issue, but we need some time to do some additional balance testing before we make our final decision. We think these changes should significantly reduce the feeling of needing to restart. So they're looking at basically tiers 1 through 6, phases 1, 2, and 3 to try to reduce the randomness of it. It will help a little in heroic for phases 1 through 4 with Darth Nihilus. Not sure exactly what both of those will look like. However, they said they need some time to do some internal testing. So when are these changes going to be played out? That's the biggest question everyone's on their mind. And it's probably not going to be in the next week. From this, it says they need to do some additional balance testing to figure it out. So my guess is this would be coming sometime probably in the next 30 days or so, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, because internal play testing and whatnot is going to take just a little bit of time, especially with everything else they have on their plates. Now on to rewards. All right, another common feedback was that the reward for Sith Raid wasn't worth the time invested, that the plan was to hit the problem from both sides. Faster completions, so you can get rewards more often, and then improved rewards. Overall, they wanted to reduce the amount of time it took for tiers 1 through 6 and incentivize those players to keep striving for that next tier. They have 3 changes that they think will speed things up. So first, they're going to overall, in non-heroic, all the rest, they're going to reduce the health of Darth Nihilus, Darth Sion, and Darth Traya. This is just simply going to reduce the amount of time involved. So this is going to help anyone that's not doing heroic get through it faster. Hopefully, this will allow you to be able to get that done a couple of times and a week and be able to get the same amount of rewards that you're getting. Maybe not as good, but the same payout amounts as other tiers. As far as all tiers, they're going to remove the challenge gear, or at least it says some of the challenge gear from the AAT pool. That's just something on the side that's kind of random, but that's something that people have said. They don't want the challenge gear inside of the rewards payouts because those are things they can get from the challenge, and they've got thousands of them, and so they don't need them. So this is just kind of a side thing. So they're going to remove the challenge gear from those AAT. As far as beyond tiers 1 through 6, it says, to be clear, most of these changes are not impacting heroic. We still want it to be hard goal to strive towards and feel the difficulty of the mechanics in heroic match the level of rewards, which now include gear 12 plus pieces. Gear tier 6 will be the challenging stepping stone to heroic, as it will retain the harder mechanics. We wanted to get these changes out as soon as possible, but we need time to test internally and find the right combination of changes to alleviate some of the difficulties at lower tiers. We think the changes outlined above will relieve some of the pain points that diminish your excitement and enthusiasm to participate in the Sith Raid. Now, a couple of things on this. First, thank you for listening to the community. Again, I often say it is not in what is broken or what isn't working or what is frustrating your individuals playing your game. It's rather, what are you going to do to address it once you understand that you have a perceived problem or problem? So you actually acknowledge the community and say, this is an issue, we understand and we recognize it, and we want to work towards fixing it. There is no specific set time when this will go live yet, and I am happy that you guys are going to take your time doing internal play testing to make sure that it's balanced when it's released. On the other side of the coin, my opportunity for the community to speak to Capital Games is that there are, in the heroic tier, a very huge problem that is at least a perceived problem by many, including myself, that we've addressed. Was probably the loudest voice in the community for this. And that is that when you're in heroic, there's only a set number of people that are going to be getting those fully crafted. What's worse is the amount of materials you get for the gear 12 plus pieces diminishes greatly outside of the top 10, and it takes forever to craft a gear 12 plus piece. Now, the only solution for this currently is for me to leave my guild and for me to go to another guild that's lower, that isn't doing as well in Sith Heroic Raid. Maybe their top guy's doing 10 million. So I can go into that guild, place number 1 or top 3, and then I'm guaranteed those pieces because those are the pieces I need at the high end. I need the gear 12 plus pieces. That's the next stage development. Now I want to earn it. I want to fight and battle it out, and I want to try and get into that top 10. But I get somewhere most of the time in between top 20 to top 30. It doesn't garner me a whole lot of that high-end gear. And so the issue is, in the time since Gear 12 Plus inception, I've been able to craft 1 Gear 12 Plus piece, 1. And I'm in the number 1 guild in the world right now. So the issue is that I have to make a choice as to stay and be stunted in my growth, or move on to another guild and help that guild grow and help myself in the process. Now, I'm rooted deeply in the guild that I'm in. I love the community, and I'm not going to move. What I am saying is I am petitioning formally by video for everybody out there who's doing heroic Sith, who's heavily invested in the game, who's trying really, really hard. They're in the highest end of the high end. They really want to participate in these raids, but it's causing a rift between the highest end guilds. In fact, some have seen people bouncing to go other places. I would ask that you would actually address that as far as leveling across. I'm not saying that everyone gets the same thing. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that maybe people in the top 20 and top 30 maybe get some more of the salvage pieces for Gear 12 Plus. Again, after all, we are in the heroic Sith Raid, not tiers 1 through 6. The whole point of that is to get those pieces. And like you said in your own post, there's a huge investment, time, money, energy, effort into these teams, and you want the rewards to be acknowledged for the hard work that's put in. At this point in my juncture, I don't personally feel like the amount of time, energy, effort into the game that I have placed in is being given back in an equitable fashion. So what I'm asking is that it not end here, but that you take a look at the increasing possibility of Gear 12 Plus salvage pieces throughout the rest of the heroic version of the raid at a minimum, so that way individuals who are in super highly competitive guilds don't feel the need to have to abandon their online family all because of a reward situation. I would ask you consider that, but I do appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate them listening to the community. What are your thoughts about it? Did they address the issues that really should be addressed, or are they missing a bigger picture? Leave your comments down below, and as always, keep your gaming on. Warrior, out.